Conor here in my home in Barcelona. It's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, but it's a strange St. Patrick's Day. No parades, no rivers dyed green. It's quarantine with the coronavirus, the COVID-19 disease. Maybe this is the common enemy that we need as humanity to unite us and to get a spirit of generosity back and to see each other not as enemies, but people that are fighting a common goal together. And the common enemy is a little tiny virus called coronavirus. And if it serves to bring us together, bring countries closer together, and what we see in medical research, the degree to which doctors and medical researchers are sharing and collaborating, it's wonderful to see what humanity is capable of when we're pushed to by a common enemy. Our grandparents were demanded that they go to the front in the war, and they didn't complain. We're being demanded that we stay at home and watch TV, and we're complaining. Maybe we could become more like the generation of our grandparents, and instead of seeing being put in your home with your family and your kids as a restriction, see it as a gift that allows us to pause and look at what's important. Pause and think about where I am, where I'm going. Take some time out now where you don't have to be in meetings, commuting, to think about what are the good things in your life and how to get more of them. What are the things you'd like to change in your life, and how can you begin to start making those changes now? If you wanted to write a book, if you wanted to start a blog, if you wanted to start a YouTube channel, now is the time. Get the video, hit record, get your notepad, start putting down ideas. If you were an artist and you haven't drawn for a long time, now is the time. If you used to play card games with family and you've forgotten, now is the time to pull those back in. If you've got board games in a cupboard that haven't been played for a long time, now is the time to get them back out. If you've got games you used to play as a kid with your hands, with paper and pen, now is the time to teach them to your kids. I remember the game of battleships. You don't need anything but just a piece of paper and a pen and two people and you can play battleships. Noughts and crosses I've played with my 4-year-old. Chess has been played. Lots of cards have been played. Trivial Pursuits has come out. So now is the time to explore your cupboard, old games that used to be entertaining. Now is the time to listen to the birds singing in the street, smell the air that is not being polluted by the cars commuting. And hopefully this crisis doesn't just pass and we go back to being exactly as we were. This crisis is a reset that allows us to stop each of our own individual lives and think about what's truly important. Who is truly important? Who needs us? Who do we want to be there for? And how do we one, work as a community, as a global world to make sure that we're ready for the next crisis that may come. And maybe that's global warming, and maybe coronavirus gives us the tools as a global community, both politically, medically, and as a global community to begin dealing with global problems that on a local case have costs, but at global level we need to begin to act as one in order to overcome them. Here's the hope. So now is the time to reflect on what's good and to think about your future and to take steps to plant seeds today for things that will come in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years' time. I do hope you're well. I do hope you're washing your hands. I do hope you're taking care of those close to you and protecting those vulnerable around you. Here in Barcelona, from the last 2-3 days, we've been in quarantine. So in the whole country, families are staying home. You're allowed out into the street one at a time only to go and buy food or buy required medication from the pharmacy, or to go and visit a family member that needs help taken care of, or if you're working in one of the industries that is keeping going in this time. Almost all businesses, to the greatest extent possible, are allowing remote working using Skype, Zoom, video conference, Google Meetings. It's a strange time, and in this video I'm not sharing any wise words or big reflections on how to be a great leader, but just how myself and my family are living this time of great uncertainty. And I think, one, we've really tried to reduce the number of times we're checking the news. We're trying to stop and look at the positive of this. I've spent a lot of time with my 4-year-old daughter. She's helped me cook the meals. She's sat next to me while I'm writing ideas, doing drawings. I think the whole country here, when I'm on video conference and my young daughter comes running into the background, we accept with a spirit of generosity that this is happening. So I think there's a lot of good coming out of this current pause on life as normal. In Spain, we're currently in a 2-week quarantine. 2 weeks where I'm here. And if you're not already in quarantine, if you're not China, Korea, Italy, some level of this is coming to where you are. And it's not because coronavirus is going to kill you, but for every 100 cases that are infected with coronavirus, 80 will be fine. It'll be mild symptoms like a cold or a flu. But there's going to be 5% that do have critical complications with their lungs and will need hospital support. And if that 5% is staged out over a lot of time, then the hospitals in each area can cope. But where that infection just rapidly grows the numbers, we don't have hospital beds and intensive care units sufficient to cope with the number of cases. And I think that's what had happened in Italy, in Wuhan at the beginning. Action has been taken here in Spain before we really overwhelm the hospitals. And hopefully where you are already taking measures that are in your hands to reduce the transmission of the disease. Number one, washing your hands. 20 seconds with soap and water, wash anything off your hands that you could have picked up from other people or from surfaces that other people have touched. A virus is not a living thing. A virus is a piece of inert chemistry that needs us in order to reproduce. So antibacterial creams and sprays don't kill a virus because a virus isn't alive to be killed. Only washing your hands removes it from the surface. And soap has an effect on the COVID-19, on the coronavirus, of breaking it. So soap is almost better than antibacterial wipes. But social distancing, I think even with all this social distancing, it's social physical distancing, but not social distancing. So you keep your distance. Handshakes have been replaced with elbow bumps or shoulder nudges. But I think with each time you don't touch somebody, pick up the phone and call them. If each time you don't kiss someone on the cheeks, pick up the phone and call them. And if this pause in daily life serves to just stop us and become grateful for some of the things we've taken for granted for so long, stops us to think about others who are in greater danger than ourselves, that even if I'm not at risk of death from COVID-19, I don't want to take risks that would put into jeopardy the lives of those who have weaker lungs, who are older, who have currently underlying conditions around me. So have a good one and stay connected. Keep well.